So, hey guys, Chauzu here. Another video about the upcoming global anniversary batch with the Blackbeard Pirates, because this batch had one potential fatal flaw that it looks like we're avoiding. Let's get into it. So one thing we've hated with Blackbeard is that every unit is int-driven powerhouse. And finally we moved away from it. This batch is only strength. So that's a very big breath of fresh air, also for air recruits. There's one issue with this though, which is the fact that Blackbeard himself, if we take a look at the Super Tannon, you need 2 specific units and they are all Blackbeard Pirates. So that means that we basically have no previous units to rely on in terms of helping out if you want to run like a mono strength team, which I'd say is the strongest way to use Blackbeard in general. So basically that means that we have to rely on the rare recruits here, like we can use Blackbeard and Burgess, but on any team we run we basically need one more. And historically rare recruits can be good, but they rarely see any use when you want to do like big damage for super boss or such. But I think this might be an exception, because they've literally made a batch just for Blackbeard. And I say that because unless you use them with Blackbeard or Burgess, these rare recruits are going to be very bad. But instead they made these rare recruits really good, but only if you use them with these legends. And that might sound disappointing, and if all rare recruits we got were like this, it will probably be very bad. But from time to time it's really good, and it has the potential to make them a lot better. So I'm very happy they went this route. So in this video we're going to take a look at all of the 4 rare recruits and see how well they work together with Blackbeard and Burgess. And we're going to start with the rare recruit Catarina Devon. And she is a driven slasher strength unit. No special captain ability, of course. Can check the crewmate ability, of course. She resists special bind and make in slots matching. I will say this right away. They built it so Blackbeard and Burgess together make a lot of slots matching, and those slots who are not matching, they spread them out around the batch. So if you run the batch with Blackbeard and Burgess, you guaranteed have all slots matching, which is pretty cool. Special. You delay enemies by 2 turns. You change adjacent slots to carry zone type. Lock orbs for 1 turn. If captain is driven, you reduce special bind by 6 turns. And if the enemy has damage threshold or damage reduction 6 turns or more, you get a 3-turn color affinity for driven for 3 turns. If it's lower than 6 turns, you can remove it by 5. And I will say that out of the rare recruits, Devon is probably not the best. Not useless though, like special bind utility is good, locking orbs is nice. But of course, except for that, like it's not much more, and the color affinity is useful, but it's not the highest either, but it is at least an option. And the color affinity for 3 turns works very well, since Blackbeard and Burgess together can give you 3 turns of attack boost, orb boost, chain boost, base attack boost, like a lot of potential buffs. So in that case it's pretty good. She doesn't really help a lot with the orbs you need, even if optimally Burgess handles that. And the delay is a bit whatever. Basically filler. It feels like they put it on the Devon units for some reason. Support is also really good, all of the Blackbeard Pirates. And if you use a special to change slots, you get a 1.5 times color affinity for driven characters. 1.5 times, and it's 3 turns, like it's really good. You can put this on, say, Burgess or Blackbeard and use them together, and you don't have to care about color affinity. Not the best option for super boss, of course, but for any normal content, that will work just fine. Moving on, we have Vasco Shot. And he's a strength-driven shooter. Also pay attention to the different classes, because Blackbeard wants a slasher on the crew, he wants a shooter, he wants fighter, and all of that. So with the one we have slasher, now we have shooter, and rage and barrier pan. Not bad. Captain ability not good, of course. Vasco Shot will resist special reverse 2 turns and do some end of turn healing. Special 2 stages. Level 1, level 2 always useful. Even more useful when the level 1 also is able to do -1 CD. So that has a lot of potential uses, like maybe you can use level 2 and then get back level 1 and get some more CD reduction, one potential use. Level 2 special though, 15,000 HP heal, changes adjacent slot to matching, and reduces burn by 6 turns. If Captain is a driven class, you reduce crew's CD by 2 turns. So it's just driven focus Captain, but the CD reduction is universal, which is really nice. If enemy's damage reduction or damage threshold has 6 or more turns remaining when special is launched, you do a chain boundary for 3 turns, starting at 2.5, going up to 20 times. And if it's 5 turns or less, you remove it. So yeah, I say this is when the units start getting better. Like, a lot of this is pretty meh until we get to the chain boundary. Like, sure, healing is nice, it's nice to remove burn if you have it. CD reduction can be vital, but the main thing you'd use this for in, say, a super boss is for that 3-turn chain boundary. Because let's say you use off the specials stage 2 before stage 3, you'd be able to keep them and the buffs wouldn't be removed, only the chain boost from Burgess basically. And even if the final stage removes buffs, they can't remove chain stuff, so chain lock or chain boundary, so this one stays. So that gives a very good synergy, and this is one of those buffs you always want on any team you build. And this way you fit it, and you also have that final unit if you want to use Blackbeard's Super Tandem. So yeah, I'm a fan. Very good. Support. If you use a special to change slot, you reduce burn by 2 turns. Probably won't see a lot of use, but a new way to remove burn at least. Then we have Doc Q, and now we get into the really memey stuff. But I'm a fan. I'm a fan. It's okay. Captain ability, nothing special. Extra base attack boost and recover slots matching. Special, you reduce bind by 6 turns. Changes all slots including block to character slots. And this is pretty interesting if we're talking about Blackbeard and Blackbeard mainly, when you want all slots to be the same. Because this means that whatever orb Doc Q has, he gives them to everyone. So if he has a Dex orb, everybody gets a Dex, and Blackbeard becomes happy, for example. So this can probably be used, and it works well with Devon or Pizarro, who gives adjacent slot matching. So we know that Doc Q will get a matching strength and then give his strength to everybody else with his special. If enemy's damage reduction status has 6 or more turns remaining when special is launched, or if enemy does not have damage reduction, you apply -30% strength resistance to all enemies for 1 turn. If you hit 2 perfect strikes in this turn, you apply weaken status to all enemies the next turn. So that's really nice, of course. Weakened makes it so that Blackbeard's increased damage taken that he can apply becomes even stronger with weakened. The new mechanic we got with V3 Bonnie this month. And also it says that if the enemy let's see, it says he will apply an 80% damage reduction status on enemies for 6 turns if enemy does not have damage reduction status. So yeah, that's pretty sweet, since that means that we can apply damage reduction to the enemy without having to use Blackbeard's super, which is nice, since that means we can save Blackbeard's super for final stage, for example. And then on that final stage we can get all of the buffs from the super, like increasing the damage of superclass driven and also potentially removing death up. So yeah, it's a cool idea. And it also means that you can use Blackbeard and Burgess on the stage 2 in a super boss, for example, without having to burn Blackbeard's super for that. So it's a cool design, but of course applying damage reduction to enemies, if you don't use Blackbeard or Burgess, will usually not be appreciated. Finally, we have Fun Augr, and I really like his look after the time skip. And Fun Augr is a driven shooter. I do like that there are multiple potential units for each of the classes. And we have Enraged and Berry Pen, extra base attack for driven, and Psy Orbs matching for driven. Bad Captain ability, and the special. Fun Augr will massively reduce a portion of each enemy's dealt damage that exceeds 6,000 for 2 turns. That's a damage threshold. So by applying that, you will change that into an increased damage taken conditional, which of course Blackbeard wants. So this will be something you'd want the same turn you use Blackbeard to also get that increased damage taken. We'll talk a bit more about that when we read the rest of the unit. He changes his own slots, including block to tandem, reduces the spear by 6 turns. Then it's the same as for Doc Q. If enemy has 6 turns or more damage reduction, he will increase crew's base attack boost by plus 500. If they don't have a base attack boost, he will instead give a 3 turn plus 1250 base attack boost, which is the same that Burgess does with his super. He will apply a minus 30% driven resistance to all enemies for 1 turn, and after 1 turn he will apply it again. So yeah, basically this means that when you use Fun Augr, you will apply the damage reduction to the enemy, and if you use Blackbeard, you will also get that increased damage taken conditional. So when you use Blackbeard after with that increased damage taken on the enemy, he will also apply the increased damage taken with his special. So with these two, you'd get that automatically. So yeah, from that essence, like Fun Augr is pretty important. The main sad thing with him is that the damage he adds is not that much. Like, if we presume we use Burgess super for the base attack boost, it means that we get a 1750 base attack boost, so 500 extra, and a minus 30% driven, so not the highest, but due to being one of the few units you can use with Blackbeard to give that damage threshold and have some good synergy, I do think that Fun Augr might be the one that ends up getting the most use, even if I don't think he's the best otherwise. So yeah. And for those of you pulling, good luck getting all 4 rare recruits. I think we'll need it. See ya. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.